So I say to her, Connie, darling, I know you are the Starlet O'Hara of the Handy staff, but come on, a video on the history of the screwdriver? What are you, nuts? It's screwy, it's boring, all the members will have a mutiny.
Au contraire, Gary. I found it to be very interesting when I was researching the history of the screwdriver for the September-October issue of the magazine. It's gripping.
Oh.
Trust me, I am the Starlet O'Hara of the Handy staff.
So, here we are, doing a video on the history of the screwdriver. Hi, I'm Gary Legwald, online editor for Handy, and this is Connie Bastier, senior editor for Handy Magazine, and AKA the Starlet O'Hara of the Handy staff. So, Connie, let's get right into this gripping history. Where does it start? About the 3rd century BC?
Well, if you want to go way back, yes, actually the corkscrew design of a screw began with the Archimedes screw, and he devised that corkscrew device for drawing water out of the holds of ships. It actually was a way to pull water vertically or almost vertically.
This is a big,
large wooden
and then just reversed the screw and drew the water out of the hole.
That's right,
Okay.
right. Then the next evolution of that principle was used much later for pressing grapes and olives to get wine and to get juice and to get oil from olives. Again, with the corkscrew turn, but turning downward rather than upward.
So using that same corkscrew design, we move then to the 3 screwdrivers that we're talking about today, and they are?
Well, initially, as far as that principle being used for fasteners, it started with a flathead screwdriver.
Okay.
And in fact, it wasn't just the tip that was flat. The first screwdrivers used for driving fasteners that way was actually flat all the way up. It didn't have a handle. It didn't have the round piece and just the tip. It was basically like when you use a butter knife to turn a screw.
So they added the handle for just more torquing power?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And eventually they figured out that since the raw material that they were using to make the screwdriver was stronger than the flat part, they left this part round or hexagon or square shaped, however the rod was, and then just flattened the tip and added a handle for comfort. And of course now we have soft padded ergonomic handles for us. So the flathead screwdriver and screw were initially inspired by the carpenter's bit, which is the hand drill idea that you kind of would be familiar with.
And this was about the 1500s or so?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's the flathead. Now let's talk about this one, the Robertson. The origin of this screwdriver was because P.L. Robertson hurt himself with the flathead. Is that right?
That's right. He was a salesman in Canada, and as you know, when you use a flathead screwdriver, it's easy for the tip of the screwdriver to slide off of the straight slot on the head. And that's what happened to him. He injured his hand, and he decided there had to be a way for a screwdriver to be able to fit and stay in the head of a screw, and he came up with the square drive, which is square, and it seats easily into the head of the screw, and it actually became and still is the most popular type of screwdriver in Canada. It was used on the Ford Model A and Model T bodies through the Fisher Body Company in Canada, and that was the beauty of it, was that for mechanical assembly it was more efficient to seat that screw into a square.
So this was about I think 1908 is what I recall.
Right. And then the Phillips head, which is the one that people in the U.S. are the more familiar with, was invented by Henry Phillips of Portland, Oregon. And he made a slight change in the kind of the same idea where it seats easily into the screw head, but the cruciform shape, which gets its name from the design of the cross in the top of the screw, also prevents slipping out. The other thing that it prevents is over-tightening, because as sometimes frustrated DIYers find, you can more easily cam out when you're tightening a Phillips screw than with a flathead driver. So some people don't prefer the Phillips for that reason. But that was its strength as far as the mechanical assembly for autos. And in 1937, General Motors began using the Phillips design for assembling the Cadillac, and that's where it really got its start.
And what's the tip called?
That's a Phillips
The
head.
cruciform?
Cruciform.
I
Yes,
love that
the cruciform
name. It's a great
design, yes. So you have the flathead, the Robertson or square, and the cruciform or Phillips. And for people who are frustrated, as I sometimes am, when I go to work on something that has a screwdriver or screw that has a flat slot in it, and go to grab a screwdriver, it's always the Phillips.
The Phillips, yes.
Or another. So
what do you do
this
for
is
that?
my solution.
Okay.
I just like to have one of these around and have a wide variety of
Lots of
options
bits. Okay.
so that I can find exactly what I need.
Thanks, Connie.
You're welcome.
So there you have it, a history of the screwdriver. Never will I doubt Starlet O'Hare again. And the next time you reach for a screwdriver, we hope you do so in appreciation for its long history of many, many turns.